This page is the explosive front cover of a Beep Mega Drive special issue, boldly declaring Beep Mega Drive and Beep Edition. It proclaims itself the strongest mega book appears and promises a luxurious mega present. The artwork is a classic late 80s sci-fi/fantasy mashup, featuring a huge, imposing silver robot towering over human-like figures, a warrior with a sword, and a woman with feline ears and claw weapons, while smaller robots fly in the background against a fiery sky and grid landscape. The key features highlighted are in-depth guides for iconic games like Phantasy Star II, a complete analysis of Super Daisen Ryaku and Super League, likely a sports simulation, and a beginner's guide to Thunder Force 2 for the Genesis/Mega Drive. It also teases lots of information on other upcoming new games, all emphasizing the power and excitement of the system, as the title, Mega Power Explodes, suggests. This cover perfectly captures the early hype and major releases for the console in Japan around April 1989. This page features the cover of Sega High-Tech Encyclopedia Volume 5, urging readers to go all out and fully enjoy Sega. This volume serves as a comprehensive guide, offering practical strategies and in-depth analysis for several exciting titles. Key games covered include the action RPG YS, the action game Kujaku OU, based on the Peacock King series, the popular beat-em-up Double Dragon, the passionate baseball sim Neketsu Kushien, and the classic puzzle platformer Bubble Bobble, specifically titled Final Bubble Bobble. The dynamic artwork captures the energy, featuring a baseball player ready to swing, the sleek Sega Mega Drive console, and a bright, explosive background, highlighting the raw Sega power. The guide also boasts a section dedicated to the New Machine Mega Drive, promising the latest information on the console itself. Below, previous volumes in the High-Tech Encyclopedia series are listed, reminding readers of the wide variety of Sega games already covered, spanning arcade classics and console hits like Outrun, Space Harrier, Alien Syndrome, Afterburner, Phantasy Star, Thunderblade, Bar-Type, and Shinobi, demonstrating the series' long-standing commitment to detailing Sega's library. This page features the prominent Beep Mega Drive title, highlighting the magazine's focus. The accompanying text emphasizes the Mega Drive's dominant presence in the game market and its expanding software lineup, powered by more manufacturers joining the platform. The issue promises comprehensive coverage, starting with an in-depth strategy guide for the highly anticipated Phantasy Star II, a popular RPG. It also previews and strategizes on new software releases and offers a final strategy section covering games from STB, likely Space Harrier 2 or similar initial base title, or perhaps referring to a hardware aspect, up to Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle. The magazine is packed with the latest information on the Mega Drive, proclaiming that its bright future is in the reader's hands. Below the text, the page showcases visuals for some of the featured games, the stunning artwork for Phantasy Star II, a strategic overview or artwork for Super Daisen Ryaku, likely Super Battle, a screenshot of the baseball simulation Super League, and a screenshot from the action game Fist of the North Star. These images provide a glimpse into the diverse genre coverage within the magazine, from deep RPGs and strategy to sports and beat-em-ups. This page provides a table of contents and staff credits for the magazine issue, set against a striking red background with dynamic black lines. The headline, "The Future of Mega Drive is Bright," introduces several sections covering new game information. First, Sega New Game Information covers titles such as the brutal action of Fist of the North Star and the sports action of World Cup Soccer, hinting at Sega's upcoming releases. Following this, participating manufacturer New Game Information details new games from other developers joining the platform, including a modem-based baseball game. The highlight is the section dedicated to Thunder Force 2, heralded as a masterpiece on the Mega Drive, suggesting in-depth coverage of this classic shoot-'em-up. The page also mentions a Mega Drive Big Present, likely a special feature or giveaway for readers. Below the content list is a staff section listing the magazine's editorial team, designers, illustrators, photographers, contributors, proofreaders, and printing company, concluding with the issue's publication date of June 1, 1989. Finally, it credits the cover illustration and design. This page is the definitive table of contents for the issue, laying out the exciting features within. It's packed with in-depth guides for some of the hottest titles on the Mega Drive at the time. You're looking at comprehensive coverage starting with the highly anticipated RPG epic, Phantasy Star II, promising deep strategy insights right from page 4. The magazine then shifts gears to sports, with a detailed look at the super-realistic baseball simulation, Super League. Arcade fans weren't left out either, with a strategy guide for the incredibly popular puzzle game Tetris, a faithful port from the arcade version. For strategy enthusiasts, there's a feature on Super Daizenryaku, highlighting the intense battle scenes unique to the Mega Drive. The issue also revisits action classics, offering tips for clearing the final stages of Super Thunderblade, and a guide showcasing all the bosses in Space Harrier 2. There's a welcome return for the classic launch title, Altered Beast, with a thorough strategy section for anyone who might have missed it. The quirky adventure of Osamatsu-kun Hachimecha Gikijo gets map coverage, helping players navigate its complex stages. Finally, there's a map guide for Alex's Sky Demon Castle, which is part of the tennis game World Court Tennis, detailing its unique RPG-like elements. This issue clearly focuses on providing valuable strategies and guides across various genres. This page delves into the epic science fantasy world of Phantasy Star II, a highly anticipated RPG. Featured prominently are illustrations of the main characters, Rolf, known as Yushis in the Japanese version, the protagonist, and Nei, his companion, ready for action with their respective weapons. The page sets the stage with a story section explaining that 2,000 years after Aelus defeated Dark Falls, the Algol solar system lives peacefully under the control of the supercomputer Motherbrain. However, this peace is shattered by the sudden appearance of dangerous biomonsters. The prologue section describes Rolf's recurring nightmares, where he witnesses a girl struggling against a monstrous creature, hinting at the challenges and mysteries awaiting the heroes as they embark on their mission to investigate the cause of the anomaly. This page presents a comprehensive world map of Motavia from Phantasy Star II, showcasing the interconnected regions and key locations. The central hub is clearly marked as Paseo, the capital city, alongside the crucial weather control system, Amidas. The map details various towns and areas that players will explore, such as Nido, Piata, Opta, and the different colored dams. Below the map, the page features a pixel art portrait of the protagonist, Rolf, alongside atmospheric artwork of a mysterious figure, likely connected to the dreams mentioned previously, and a detailed illustration of a fearsome biomonster. The accompanying text appears to be a first-person account, potentially from Rolf, reflecting on the nature of his world, the dreams he experiences, and the urgent mission to uncover the truth behind the sudden appearance of dangerous biomonsters, and their connection to the supercomputer Motherbrain. It sets a thoughtful, slightly melancholic tone, emphasizing the digital control of their reality, and the bizarre nature of the new threats. This page profiles 4 key party members joining Rolf in Phantasy Star II. Nilly, a human-monster hybrid rescued by Rolf, is agile and quick. Amy, a skilled counterhunter, excels with blades, and possesses a hidden kindness. Hugh, a former engineer, destroys mechanical enemies, and harbors feelings for Nelly, driven by his passion for Algo's mysteries. Anna, a Motavian doctor, joins the group after witnessing tragedy, utilizing healing and detoxification skills. Each character's profile includes pixel art, combat stats, and background information, highlighting their unique personalities and roles in the quest. This page features profiles for 4 main characters from Phantasy Star II. 1. Generations of Doom. We see the protagonist's rise, the Motavian agent and swordsman with a mysterious past. Lyle, listed as Ludger in Japanese, a former soldier turned hunter seeking vengeance for his wife. Hugh, the gifted biologist who aids the team with his knowledge of monsters. And Sari, listed as Circa in Japanese, a free-spirited thief seeking adventure. Each character is presented with their Japanese name, occupation, and a unique identifier, date, alongside key combat stats like body, spirit, agility, and various proficiencies. The page includes both pixel art portraits and larger illustrations of each character, giving a good sense of their design. The descriptions highlight their backgrounds, personalities, and roles within the party, such as Lyle's role as a steady hand for the younger members, Hugh's tactical advice, and Sari's unpredictable nature and knack for finding items. It's a helpful introduction to the varied companions who will join the player's journey across the generations. This page provides a comprehensive look at the vast array of equipment available in Phantasy Star II, categorizing items into ocarinas, medicine, weapons, and protective gear. The game boasts nearly 120 different items, each with unique uses and acquisition methods. Featured ocarinas include the Ocarina of Travel, which instantly returns you to the last town visited, the Ocarina of Doubt, perfect for escaping dungeons, and the Ocarina of Silence, used to avoid random encounters. The medicine section highlights essential consumables like monomate for healing and antidote for curing poison, invaluable when recovery techniques are unavailable. Weapons are shown with examples like the basic knife, the powerful sword, the long-range bowgun, the unique scalpel usable by doctors or scholars, the boomeranging slicer, the paralyzing silent shot, the quick dagger, and the character-specific steel claw. The manual notes weapons come in one-handed and two-handed types, and should be combined effectively with armor. Protective gear is extensive, covering head, hand, body, and foot slots. Examples include the standard headgear, the defensive ribbon for knee-lie, various body armors like the carbon suit and heavy armor, footwear like espadrilles and knife boots, and shields such as the carbon shield and carbon mail. Descriptions mention wearer restrictions, like knee-lie for the ribbon or steel claw, and the protective capabilities of each piece. This page is crucial for understanding how to outfit your party effectively for the challenging battles ahead in Phantasy Star II. This page continues the extensive Phantasy Star II item manual, detailing more crucial equipment for your party. It covers additional consumables like the powerful star and moon atomizers, unique items that can fully restore HP or even revive fallen allies, notably items that Shure is said to acquire through less than conventional means. The bulk of this page focuses on protective gear, particularly various head and body armor such as the glass gear, silver and jewel ribbons, including Nikai's strongest armor, crowns like the silver, jewel, Nikai's and ice crowns, and various gears and helmets including the high defense Titan and Laconian series. It also features items with unique effects when used in battle, mimicking techniques like Deband, Zan, Shunera and Gazan. The table clearly lists each item's value, who can equip it, showing which characters like Rolf, Ney, Rudo, Amy, Hugh, Shure and Ciez can use them, although Shure appears listed in 2 columns, their defensive stats, and informative remarks. Standout items include the enigmatic Nuzai helmet and Nuzai crown, found on Dozoris, and fascinating utility items like hats that allow communication with Skewers cats or accurate conversation with Dozorians. This section is vital for understanding character-specific gear and items with unique utility beyond simple stats. This page continues the essential Phantasy Star II item guide, focusing on protective gear including various body armor, boots, and shields. The table details items like the carbon, glass, Titan, ceramic, crystal, and legendary Laconian series, alongside character-specific gear like the Niwai harness and Niwai field. It highlights where items can be acquired, from shops in Paseo, Optano, Crevice, Piata, Zima, Ryuan, and Zosa, to unique locations like Garen for the powerful Niwai gear. The remarks section offers crucial details, such as the glass vest being exclusive to Niai, Amy's preference for espadrilles, or the special effect of the knife boots, which can attack enemies. Items like the amber robe and crystal field possess unique utility, capable of mimicking techniques like star atomizer recovery or the Grafty gravity attack when used in battle. The Garda boots are noted as offering the highest defense among boots, while carbon and glass shields provide defense for different characters. This page continues the essential item manual for Phantasy Star II, detailing a range of shields and weapons available to the party. The comprehensive table lists each item's value, the characters who can equip it, including Rolf, Ney, Rudo, Amy, Hugh, Shure, and Kane, its attack and defense stats, and descriptive remarks. Key defensive gear highlighted includes the durable Laconian series and the extremely strong Niwai shield and armlet, rumored to be in the hidden city of Naval. The weapons cover everything from basic knives and swords to character-specific and advanced equipment. Noteworthy weapons include Rolf's powerful laser and riot swords, Nini's exclusive steel and laser claws, and Amy's signature boomerang and slicer line, culminating in the fire slicer and the flame rod, which can replicate the Fua technique. Remarks provide crucial information on item locations, mentioning shops in Paseo, Crevice, Zima, Ryuan, Piata, Aquaball, and Arima, and sometimes noting unique properties or who the item is best suited for. This page continues the essential item manual for Phantasy Star II, moving on to firearms and other unique equipment. The table details a range of guns including shotguns, Vulcans, lasers, and pulse weapons, listing their value, who in your party, Rolf, Ney, Rudo, Amy, Hugh, Shure, Kane, can equip them, and their attack and defense power. Crucial remarks provide context on where to find these weapons and their properties, such as which ones require 2 hands. The page also highlights other items like the visiphone, essential for communication. Below the table, dynamic screenshots showcase the game's combat, with Rudo effectively using a shotgun against enemies, and Sure demonstrating the power of slicer weapons. The text emphasizes the realistic animation used for weapon attacks, and hints at character-specific actions, or special fields, that add depth to battles. The storm gear, shown in another screenshot, is mentioned as an item usable in combat with power comparable to the Gazan technique. This page delves into the techniques available in Phantasy Star II, essentially the game's magic system. It provides a comprehensive table listing various techniques, their TP costs, targets, effects, and which characters can utilize them. The techniques are primarily categorized into elemental series, Fwa, fire, Zan, wind, Grapt, gravity, and Grants, light, scaling in power and target area, single, group all, with higher variations like Jifwa and Nafwa. Unique descriptions reveal details about their nature. For example, the Zan series creates vacuums, and the Grapt series generates gravity waves to crush enemies. The Grant series is particularly intriguing, described as powerful light rays whose origin is unknown and can only be used by Rolf. Beyond the elemental attacks, the page also details crucial support techniques like Shift, attack up, Drain, HP absorption, Alicia, heal all, Porcerin, seal mech specials, Conteri, seal organic specials, and Caesar, revive. Screenshots illustrate some technique effects and enemies encountered in battle. This page continues the detailed breakdown of techniques available in Phantasy Star II. It covers several more technique series and unique abilities, presenting them in a similar table format showing their cost, target, effect, and who can use them. The Garsh and Sagarsh series are specifically effective against mechanical enemies, designed to explode them, with Sagarsh being a more potent version targeting all mechs. The Genera series is shown to rapidly age organic beings, potentially weakening them or causing plants to wither, originating from agricultural use. The Bolt series is a fearsome technique that stops the nervous system of organic creatures, designed originally for medical purposes but used here to kill. The Shoot series enhances allies' motor skills, boosting speed and defense, originating from brain research. Additional techniques listed include those that cause enemies to miss attacks, like Drank and Forsar, paralyze organics, Limita, make organics flee, Shinparo, stop mechs, Limite, and create a defensive barrier, Deband. The table indicates which characters, such as Usis, Rudo, Anne, Hugh, Amy, Kynes, and Shiruka, can access these different abilities. Screenshots show various battle scenarios where these techniques are employed. This page continues the guide to techniques available in Phantasy Star II. It details several more series of abilities used by the party members. The Shunera series focuses on enhancing the party's speed, making movements faster in combat. The Resulta series provides crucial single-target healing, restoring HP to one ally, with stronger versions healing more or even fully recovering HP. For group healing, the Sarasuta series restores HP to all party members simultaneously, making it essential for recovering from area effect attacks. The Rare Sakura series involves self-sacrificial techniques, where the user gives up their own life to save a comrade, though its nature means it's rarely used. Beyond these core series, there are other utility techniques listed, such as Anti to cure poison, Reverser to revive fallen allies, Retrikar to instantly return the party to the last town they saved in, and Highness to escape from dungeons. The page also highlights two unique techniques. The Final Destruction technique, Megid, a powerful and mysterious attack with unexplained origins, shown unleashing devastating energy blasts. Another technique, Musica, is presented as a way for anyone to become a musician by receiving piano lessons, suggesting a character-specific ability potentially tied to Eucesis, shown in a screenshot near a piano. The tables clearly show the technique cost, target, effect, and which characters can learn them, utilizing dots to indicate character availability, aligning with the previous page's format. Screenshots illustrate some of these techniques being used in battle. This page presents a monster manual for Phantasy Star II, introducing the various biomonsters and mechs that stand in the way of Rolf and his companions. It breaks down the enemies into different series, providing a small image of each creature, its Japanese name, and its combat statistics including experience, meseta, attack, defense, agility, HP, and escape success rate. The guide categorizes monsters by type. The Poison Snake series paralyzes with poison, the Pedra series attacks with energy waves, and the Liquor series drains health. There's also the Lot plus Carrier series featuring unsettling parasitic lots, the Whistle type, which are mechanical bots appearing in groups, and the Ant series introduced for early game experience grinding. The Mosquito series are blood-sucking monsters, the Sphere series includes enemies that can use Resta techniques, and the Fencer series are insect-like monsters resembling flies. Each entry provides the essential data needed to understand the threat posed by these diverse foes encountered throughout the game. This page continues the Phantasy Star II Monster Manual, detailing more hostile life forms encountered in the Algol star system. It showcases several enemy series, including the Leech type, which attack with destructive light beams from their mouths and deal heavy damage, featuring enemies like Hildo, Varich Leech, and Palmeting Leech. The cover-type monsters multiply through cell division, with examples being Baskar cover, Manker cover, and Planet cover. The Deadwood-type enemies attack with a club they carry, featuring Deadwood, Blockhead, and Faria. On the right side, we see the Glass-type enemies, like Glass Killer and Glass Looter, which attack with scythes, and Glass Looter is known for using instant death techniques. The Amoeboid type is skilled in paralysis attacks, and the Miki Sumerve variant splits into more units. The Amoeboid type includes Amoeboida, Slime Zellum, and Miki Sumerve. Finally, the Polycyte type uses the gun on its left arm as a weapon, and the Axe variant specializes in paralysis attacks. The Polycyte type includes Polycyte, Polycyte Axe, and Polycyte SS. Each entry provides a small image and key combat statistics like experience, meseta, attack, defense, agility, HP, and escape success rate, vital data for preparing your party for the diverse threats that await. This page continues the Essential Phantasy Star II Monster Manual, presenting 6 more distinct enemy categories and their combat data. On the left, we see the Kaito type, winged creatures known for paralysis attacks and persistent offense, including the Kaito kind, Reptile Kaito, and Kaito Dragon. Below them are the Neo types, which appear as tree-like entities that attack by scattering destructive bombs, featuring the Neo Kaitonia, Neo Ilsonia, and Neo Benedictus. Finally, the Devil Cat types are displayed, feline humanoids described as resembling females and potentially prototypes of the character Done. This section includes Alluro, Lynx, and Panthera. On the right, the Beast Wolf types are featured, quick wolves with flame-like fur, consisting of the Blizzard Wolf, Burn Wolf, and Flare Wolf. Next are the Cetia types, aquatic mechanical enemies that can induce sleep and lower defense, often appearing near water. This category contains Cetia Scissors, Cetia Lord, and Cetia Queen. The final group is the Diho type, turret-like mechs placed within dungeons, with entries for Diho, Josuito Diho, and Ippo Diho. Each monster entry includes a sprite image and a table listing vital stats, experience points, meseta dropped, attack power, defense power, agility, hit points, and escape success rate, providing players with the necessary information to strategize against these various threats. This page continues the comprehensive Phantasy Star II Enemy Manual, detailing 6 more distinct categories of antagonists you'll encounter across the Algo system. We start with the Curie types, described as large, tough mobile mechs like the Curie 61, Sabocaps, and Mineralogists. Below them are the Azer types, formidable foes whose primary weapons are Vulcan cannons and 3-point particle cannons. This includes the Azer, Heavy Soldier, and Grandbuster. Finally, the Army I type rounds out the left side, featuring tough enemies led by the numerous Army I itself, along with the Tracer Base and Polyspectre. On the right, the Sat types are highlighted, noted for their ability to instantly transform and launch surface missiles, with variants like Sataman, Sataboy, and Sat. Following them are the Mizoran types, creatures that fire strange light rays from eye-like parts, including Mizoran Gamma, Mizoran Sigma, and Mizoran Omega. The page concludes with the Bamboo types, enemies that suddenly extend upwards and unleash destructive light rays from their eyes, featuring Bamboo, Bamboo Twig, and Bamboo Doll. Each entry includes the enemy sprite and a full breakdown of their battle statistics, crucial for any player planning their strategy against these varied mechanical and biological threats. This page provides essential data for 6 more Phantasy Star II enemy types, including their stats and unique characteristics. This page continues the extensive enemy manual for Phantasy Star II, highlighting 6 additional enemy classes you'll battle. The giant bird types, including the Malfic Eye, are noted for their wing shockwave attacks and ability to induce sleep. The unsettling poison rabbit types, like the dirty Angora, launch internal organs and utilize poison in combat. The Musk tribe, featuring Sakov and Monorov, are skilled in paralysis attacks with concealed needles. On the right, the robotic banders are airborne threats, equipped with cannons and lasers, with the bandor leader being a tougher variant. The ape types, such as the hungry ape, stand on two legs to strike with claws, and can even heal themselves with resta. Lastly, the formidable mammoth tribe, including the powerful Dozoria mammoth, are evolved forms of creatures from the first game, and possess high HP. Each enemy entry includes vital statistics for strategic planning. This page continues the detailed enemy manual for Phantasy Star II, presenting 6 more distinct monster types you'll encounter during your adventure. On the left, you'll find the formidable dragon tribe, known for their significant attack power, followed by the fire demon tribe, characterized by their wave-like attacks and high experience yield. Below them are the Imperial Guard, boasting the highest attack power, but weak defenses. On the right side of the page are the airborne sword tribe, including the Death Owner, who utilizes deadly techniques. Next is the Shadow tribe, incorporeal foes noted as being particularly difficult to escape from. Finally, the Ancient Sorcerer tribe, described as having lived for thousands of years, rounds out this section. Each enemy entry features an image of the monster, a brief descriptive note, and a comprehensive table listing their experience points, meseta gained, attack power, defense power, agility, HP, and escape success rate, providing essential data for players to strategize their battles. This page continues the Phantasy Star II enemy manual, shifting focus from stats to action by showcasing the unique attack animations of various monsters. Through sequential screenshots, it illustrates the distinct special moves each creature possesses. You'll see the armed ant lunge forward with paralyzing tusks, the poisoners reveal its fins and spit venom, and the rust rot attempt to attack with an exploding head. The transforming hungry ape peels off its skin before performing an attack that surprisingly recovers its HP, while the heavy sea lord rears up to strike with giant pincers. The unsettling spoil rabbit transforms into a monstrous form, and the mechanical iratia shifts into a shooting configuration. The flashy Satman launches missiles from its head, the shadowy Darkside wields a cool light saber, the fire elemental transforms into a fiery human-like entity to throw its attack, and the airborne Climbringer performs a stabbing attack described with a 3D sensation. The page effectively visualizes the dangerous and sometimes surprising nature of the enemies encountered in the game. This page continues the focus on Phantasy Star II enemies, shifting from in-game animations and stats to the monster design artwork. It reveals the concept art for several creatures encountered in the game. You'll see the concept art for the mosquito, described as having a surprisingly rugged, composite body despite its name. The biting ant, a common early-game enemy, is shown with its intimidating mandibles, highlighting its design before its in-game attacks like the rear poison and frontal bite were finalized. The spinning sphere art visualizes its floating cell-like nature and the energy waves it emits. The poisoner is depicted, detailing the hump that conceals its extensible turtle-like neck and emphasizing its poisonous fangs. Lastly, the flying Pedra is shown, its multi-segmented body drawing a comparison to the flying centipede from Nausicaa, illustrating the design behind its unique, unsettling movement. The accompanying text emphasizes that this detailed design art is created before the game's visuals, showcasing the intimidating power captured in the concept stages for the monsters and mechs of Phantasy Star II. This page continues showcasing the conceptual artwork for the enemies of Phantasy Star II, offering a deeper look into the designs before they were rendered in-game. You'll find concept art for the Hoistal, described as a small robot resembling R2-D2 with visible internal mechanics. The Liquor artwork reveals its design as a toad-like creature that spits poison from body warts, noted for its eerie eyes but surprisingly humorous mouth and multiple limbs. The Chokinrot is shown, identified as a parasitic biomonster that moves by latching onto carriers, its appearance likened to a mushroom, suggesting it cannot move independently. The Amuboila concept is illustrated, conveying its transparent, blob-like form and the reviewer's fear of its large size during attacks. The Hild art depicts a creature that uses a parasitic insect extending from its mouth as a weapon, highlighted as a particularly terrifying aspect. The Politsue is presented as a cool robot police officer design, with clear details of its armor, and shoulder-mounted weapon. The glass killer is shown from an angled view, emphasizing its praying mantis-inspired form. Finally, the bus cover is depicted as a strange, creepy creature, prompting speculation about its nature. The page provides a fascinating look at the diverse and often unsettling designs that populate the world of Phantasy Star II. This page continues our look at the fascinating concept art from Phantasy Star II, diving deeper into the designs of its unique enemies. You'll see the concept for the Deho, depicted as a mechanical plant acting like a turret with root-like pipes. The fearsome Deathwoot's muscular form is shown, with a note about the powerful bulge from its shoulder to neck and its strange bone weapon. The skeletal Bamfur is surprisingly revealed to have 3 legs in this design. The concept art for the Kaito kind shows a more insectoid form with hind legs, noted as significantly different and more eerie than its in-game appearance. The Mizora is presented with its concept as a scorpion-like machine with an impressive tail, a stark contrast to the War of the Worlds tripod look it had in the actual game. We also see the Scissors, whose art shows it having a hidden tail, unlike its initial appearance that looked like just pincers and a body. Finally, the Satman's concept in its compact form is displayed, alongside the surprising fact that this odd pot or juicer machine transforms into a cool humanoid robot during combat. These designs offer a great perspective on the creative process behind Phantasy Star II's world. This page continues the fascinating concept art from Phantasy Star II. You'll see designs for creatures like the Hungry Ape, described as a scary monster in its attacking form, bearing fangs and drooling. The Dershan Gora is highlighted as potentially the creepiest character, referred to as a rotten rabbit, with intense concept art. The Cooley 61 mech concept art shows it as a walker with a cockpit, differing from its in-game appearance. The small army eye drone is depicted with a humorous comment, wondering if it's Wiss's father. The All Deliria, which appeared penguin-like in the game, is shown here as a frightening bird that is primarily a mouth. The band-flying mech concept is viewed from below, noting its cannons and rapid-fire gun. The Neoman Mimos is presented as a transformed, destructive mammoth creature. Lastly, the Isol ground mech is shown with a large manipulator in its concept design, unlike its in-game walking appearance. This page continues the incredible concept art from Phantasy Star II, offering fascinating glimpses into the design process for various creatures and items. You'll see the imposing figure of Da Gemlar, speculated to be a subordinate of Motherbrain, with a notable mask and striking chest emblem. There's also the muscular Muzur, likened humorously to a Budaraza butcher, wielding an axe that didn't make it into the final game. The elemental monster Fire Remless is depicted as a transforming creature of flame, capable of taking human or wave-like forms. The eerie Darkside is shown as a shadowy being with glowing red eyes and a very sharp sword. The page also features the Chaos Sorcerer, highlighted as a powerful returning enemy from the first Phantasy Star game, noted for its increased strength and potential 3,000-year lifespan, captured in its special attack pose. The Living Blade, a magic sword that attacks on its own, is detailed with a curious element on its hilt. Finally, the Archdragon concept art reveals a more demonic and evolved design compared to standard dragons, also potentially having lived for 3,000 years. This page delves into the world of Phantasy Star II, focusing on the starting city of Paseo on the planet Motavia. It sets the scene, describing Paseo as the central hub of Motavia, and where the story begins for Rolf, a government agent living there. The page highlights Rolf's house, a crucial location for managing your party and taking a break during your adventures. A screenshot shows the house's interior, and a portrait of Rolf, identified here as SYS, is also featured. Various shops within Paseo are introduced, vital for equipping your party. The weapon shop offers offensive gear like knives, daggers, and guns. The item shop is where you acquire consumables such as healing items, mates, and utility items like ocarinas for transportation. The armor shop provides defensive equipment like headgear, suits, and shields. These shops are essential for preparing for the dangers ahead. Finally, the page includes short lore sections explaining key elements of Motavia and the Phantasy Star universe. The history of Motavia, the biosystem controlling life forms, the Amidas system regulating climate, the dams controlling water flow, and the enigmatic Mother Brain, the supercomputer governing the entire Algo star system. These snippets provide context for the game's world and the challenges players will face. This page details the essential facilities found within Paseo, the bustling central city of Motavia in Phantasy Star II. It introduces the teleport service, allowing swift travel between towns for a fee in Meseta, and the data memory system, crucial for saving your progress. Medical needs are covered by the hospital, which heals hit points and status ailments, and the clone lab, where fallen party members can be revived using cloning technology, although the text notes cloning isn't possible if the body is completely destroyed. Both services require Meseta. The page also highlights key locations within the central tower, the government hub of Paseo. Here you find the governor's office, where Rolf receives his mission objectives from the governor. Sure Gold's room is also located within the tower, offering a place to interact with the party's resident thief. Finally, the library provides a wealth of information about the world and its creatures, accessible for free to anyone seeking knowledge before venturing out. A central screenshot provides a view of the city layout, showing the location of these vital buildings. This page continues the look at the world of Phantasy Star II. It showcases the town of Arima, known as the City of Plunder, detailing how raiders from the east have terrorized its inhabitants. The text relates the tragic story of Darum, whose daughter Tim was kidnapped, driving him to become one of the very raiders he despises. A scene at the bridge over the North River is also shown, possibly related to confronting these raiders. The page presents a typical weapon shop menu, listing items such as the dagger, steel claw, sword, ceramic knife, sonic gun, and shotgun, along with their prices, essential gear for venturing out. Also featured are floor maps for levels 1 through 4, likely guiding players through a dungeon area, perhaps the hideout of the aforementioned raiders. The coverage introduces Rudger, a professional hunter, via a character portrait, highlighting his arrival as a powerful ally to Rolf and Nie. Finally, a screenshot depicts the raiders' hideout, located in a ruined factory far east of Arima, raising the question of whether Tim, Darum's kidnapped daughter, is held captive there. This page dives deeper into the world of Phantasy Star II, focusing on the mission to rescue Darum's daughter, Tim, from the Tower of Nido. This location is revealed to be the ruined factory hideout east of Arima, now acting like a complex multi-level dungeon. The structure is intricate, with challenging paths that can easily disorient adventurers, particularly the third floor, which features an opening that sends you back down if you fall. The magazine provides floor maps for the first, second, and third levels, highlighting key points like containers. Eustace has also come to this hideout to help rescue Tim. However, the place is infested with grotesque creatures known as biomons. Screenshots show not only the moment Tim is found and rescued, but also depict battles against these powerful monsters. The text notes that the biomons were so formidable, they even overwhelmed and killed the raiders who previously occupied the hideout. Upon being rescued, Tim expresses her desire to stop her father, Darum, who has become a raider for her sake. The narrative follows the character's efforts to navigate this monster-infested tower and safely extract Tim, potentially involving a plan to reach Darum while avoiding notice. This page continues the Phantasy Star II story, moving from the rescue of Tim to the emotional reunion with her father, Darum, at the North Bridge. Screenshots capture this poignant scene, where Tim pleads with Darum to stop his destructive ways, leading to a dramatic collapse in recognition. The page also provides practical information, including a look at the game's menu interface, showing available items and prices in the weapon, armor, and item shops. A large area map offers navigational aid. The focus then shifts towards the next objective, the biosystem. Vertical text headlines the upcoming mission and discusses rumors surrounding the biosystem and the city of Optano, mentioning monsters and something significant hidden underground. Crucially, the page introduces new characters joining the party. We meet Amy, A-N-Z in the Japanese version, described as a skilled doctor, and white-clothed angel, vital for healing the injured. The dialogue reveals her background and willingness to help. The party is noted to become a balanced four-member team: Rolf, Nie, Rudo, and Amy, with distinct RPG roles. Another character, Mr. Abankino, likely Kuran, a genius musician from Optano, is also introduced, hinted to hold an important key to the unfolding events. The stage is set for the party to embark on their mission to the biosystem. This page delves into the perilous biosystem location in Phantasy Star II, providing essential floor maps for the first, second, and third floors, plus the creepy basement, B1. The maps reveal the layout, marking locations of containers where you might find useful items, and highlighting areas with floor tiles that inflict damage, which the text identifies as a strange, glowing, toxic liquid, seemingly from the biomonsters themselves. Screenshots show this hazardous liquid environment and a disturbing image of a creature in a culture capsule, likened to something from the Alien films, emphasizing the unsettling nature of the facility. The text discusses the search for the system recorder, mentioning initial difficulty finding it even after reaching the 3rd floor, before announcing its discovery later on. It also reflects on the biosystem's original purpose for creating beneficial crops, and questions why it now produces such malevolent organisms, underscoring the twisted nature of the area. There's also a note about potential big guys, or powerful enemies found within this facility. This page reveals the truth behind the biosystem disaster in Paseo. By analyzing data, the party discovered that excessive energy from Amidas flowed into the biosystem, causing the biomonsters to evolve rapidly. This event coincided with the start of the abnormal weather. With the cause identified, the focus shifts to investigating Amidas itself. Before heading there, the party encounters a sturdy shutter blocking the bridge over the West River, which can be opened using a key tube found earlier, removing the need for explosives. They also return home and meet the young biologist Huey, whose knowledge of creatures will be invaluable in battles against the biomonsters, and his portrait is shown. Later, they arrive in Zima, a town built on the lake. They learn that Amidas is located in the center of a lake nearby but aren't sure how to reach it. An elder in town explains that while the teleport network is down, preventing easy travel, a vehicle called a jet scouter is available for use by the sea. The page also includes menus for the weapon, armor, and item shops, listing various gear and consumables available for purchase, noting that some items like the mirror shield are expensive but worth acquiring. A final illustration shows characters considering different modes of transport and sustenance. This page from the magazine dives deeper into the world of Phantasy Star II. We find ourselves in Rotron, where the party is searching for the elusive jet scooter to cross the sea. This search leads them into a unique dungeon known as the Trash Mountain, which is filled with refuse, but also holds valuable items, marked by containers on the provided maps for floors 1F, B1, B2, and B3. Adding to the adventure, Amy A. Carls, a skilled counterhunter, joins Rolf's party in Paseo, offering her combat expertise. The page also gives us insight into the planet's native inhabitants, the Motavians. Contrary to initial appearances, these creatures possess a truly bizarre nature. They despise beauty, adore trash, and even consider stench their friend. It's highlighted that their passion for collecting garbage is the ultimate form of happiness for them. A quirky note warns players never to eat Motavian cake, no matter how hungry they are. It turns out, a Motavian inventor is the one who provides the party with the jet scooter, despite their strange habits. This page continues the adventure in Phantasy Star II, focusing on the party's journey to new locations and the acquisition of key items. First, we visit Cuaris, a town that was once on the sea, but is now bordered by clear lake water leading towards Amidas. The text highlights a mystery involving scientists researching gum found in the sea, and mentions a seemingly ordinary item shop clerk who is actually a chewing gum researcher. The page then details the acquisition and use of the jet scooter, obtained in Piata, which allows for exploration across the sea. Next is an introduction to Kynes, who runs a junk shop in Paseo. Although his aspirations were originally different, he proves to be a unique companion. We also get a look at Piata itself, a town near a former spaceport. A tragic accident occurred here 10 years prior, resulting in many deaths and changing the relationship between the protagonist and the Yushis. The text alludes to the possibility of traveling into space from here, connecting to the legendary spaceship. Finally, shop menus are displayed for the Curis/Sea exploration area and Piata, listing various weapons, armor, and items available for purchase, reflecting the different stages of the journey. This page continues the adventure in Phantasy Star II, detailing the party's journey to Uzo Island, located west of Curis and accessible via the jet scooter. The primary objective on Uzo Island is to find the Maraletu tree. The island is described as mostly mountainous. A large diagram is presented showing the complex, multi-layered structure of what is called the real tree. This appears to be the dungeon map for this significant location. A screenshot confirms the party successfully found the Maraletu tree after overcoming monster interference. The page then shifts focus to Paseo, where the party gains a new member, Shilka, described as a female thief. Shilka declares herself of the wind and states she won't be captured. Her joining completes the party, bringing together all 8 heroes, which is shown on the party status screen. There is also a small comic panel featuring a character and a plant, with text referring to refreshing breath and gentleman's etiquette, perhaps a humorous aside related to items or themes in the game. This page continues the guide for Phantasy Star II. Picking up after obtaining the Maruera leaf. The party has had the leaf processed into Maruera gum by the scientist in Curice, enabling them to breathe underwater. They now enter the underground water vein from the source, with the map showing the path through this area. Stepping on certain tiles in this map will cause damage. Advancing through the water vein leads to Ametus, the central location of the game's mystery. Ametus is vast and challenging, filled with ferocious monsters, but also offers valuable items. The guide advises players that heading directly to the main computer room on the 7th floor is a smart approach. Floor maps highlighting containers and elevator routes are provided. A shocking truth awaits the player in Ametus, setting the stage for the fateful confrontation, too nice, mentioned in the headline. This page continues the guide for Phantasy Star II, detailing the treacherous levels within Ametus. Maps for floors 4 through 7 are presented, showing the layout and locations of hidden containers marked by stars. Having navigated the underwater section, the party arrives at the climax on the upper floors of Ametus, where the truth of the biohazard is revealed. The text describes a fateful encounter on the top floor with a mysterious figure. Screenshots depict the futuristic interior of Ametus and a dramatic battle screen. The narrative focuses on the confrontation between Ni and a powerful being identified as Ni First. This creature, born from biohazard research and a result of system accidents, shares a connection with Ni, but harbors resentment towards humanity. The text highlights the inevitability of the clash between the two natures, framing it as a crucial, unavoidable battle that explores the tragic origins of these characters. This page continues the Phantasy Star II guide, detailing the aftermath of the events in Ametus. The destruction there has caused a catastrophic flood, and the city of Paseo is now sinking. The team learns that the only way to save Paseo is to open 4 dams, but the control system is damaged. Their quest leads them to the control towers in Piata, where they must find the necessary dam cards. However, having been framed as criminals for the destruction of Ametus, they are now pursued by the government's mobile police. The screenshots show flooded town areas, the interior of the control tower, and a battle against robotic security forces, highlighting the shift from heroic adventurers to fugitives fighting for survival and the fate of their world. Despite the grim situation, the adventure is far from over, as they seek help from allies like Hugh to navigate this new threat. This page continues the guide for Phantasy Star II, focusing on the crucial mission to obtain the dam cards. The large title emphatically declares, "Get the dam cards," confirming the objective set out after the disaster in Ametus. The screenshot at the top shows the player character navigating the complex, industrial interior of the control tower in Piata. The text explains that this tower is a confusing, 2-story maze where it's easy to get lost, emphasizing the need to constantly know your location using the map. It details the process of navigating the tower to find the essential dam cards needed to open the dams and potentially save Paseo from flooding. A key challenge mentioned is a puzzle involving a keyboard. Playing the correct notes causes a reaction that unlocks something, leading to the acquisition of the 4 required dam cards. The guide highlights the difficulty and complexity of this area, especially with its numerous elevators for vertical travel, stating it's the most complex area encountered so far. The included maps clearly show the layouts of the 1st and 2nd floors of the tower, illustrating the network of rooms and the placement of elevators marked by arrows, which is essential for players to plan their route through this challenging dungeon. The next page continues the guide for Phantasy Star II, shifting focus to the critical mission involving the 4 great dams. 4.1. This part covers the Green Dam and the Yellow Dam, both crucial for controlling the water levels on Motavia. The guide describes the Green Dam as the first dam introduced, navigable via jet scooter up the river north of Motavia Lake. It mentions finding items inside. The Yellow Dam is described as the second dam encountered, located west of the river in Motavia. Despite its 4 floors, it's considered moderately difficult, not overly complex like the control tower. Inside, key items like the crescent gear, snow crown, green sleeves, crystal items, and the amber robe can be found, which significantly boosts the party's defense. The main computer is mentioned as the destination within the Yellow Dam. Maps for both the Green Dam and Yellow Dam are provided,
showing the layouts and indicating key locations. Screenshots show the interior environments of the dams, emphasizing their distinct styles. The text implies that opening these dams is essential to resolving the crisis on Motavia. The next page continues the guide for Phantasy Star II, providing detailed maps for crucial locations related to the Four Great Dams mission. We see floor layouts, likely for the yellow dam spanning floors 1 through 4, as well as maps for a separate structure with floors 1 and 2, which could be the control tower or another dam. The maps clearly indicate pathways, rooms, and stairs or elevators connecting floors. A key on the page points out that star icons on the map mark the locations of containers, where valuable items can be found. These maps are essential for navigating these challenging areas to find necessary equipment and progress the story. The next page of the guide continues the Phantasy Star II coverage, focusing on the Red Dam as part of the Four Great Dams Liberation Operation. The page presents detailed maps for the B1, first, and second floors of the Red Dam, showing the various rooms, corridors, and stairways. These maps are essential for navigating this area, and a key indicates that star symbols highlight the locations of containers holding valuable items. According to the guide, the Red Dam, located south of the river on Motavia, features a somewhat unusual and structurally complex layout. Despite its appearance, the content within is described as simple, possibly making it the easiest of the dams. The crucial main computer is located in the central area of the second floor. Players are encouraged to search thoroughly in this dam, as it contains powerful items like Aaron's knife and the fire rod. 2 screenshots are included, one showing the distinctive red exterior of the dam, and another depicting the inside, which is described as a beautiful red, reminiscent of brickwork, despite the limitations of the monochrome screenshot. The next page provides a detailed guide to the Blue Dam in Phantasy Star II, which is described as the final dam and a complex high-rise structure situated east of the river on Motavia. The page features comprehensive maps covering the 1st through 5th floors, illustrating the layout of rooms, corridors, and the locations of stairs connecting the levels. A key indicates that star symbols mark containers holding items. According to the text, keeping track of your floor is crucial for navigating this multi-level dungeon. The guide highlights that the main computer is located on the 5th floor. Players can find valuable items within this dam, specifically mentioning the rainbow bandana and storm gear. Finding these items might require some clever thinking. The page includes screenshots showing the exterior and interior of the Blue Dam, and a small comic celebrates the potential opening of the dam. The accompanying text emphasizes that this is the last dam, and opening it should avert the crisis of Paseo being flooded. This page picks up right after the events at the Blue Dam in Phantasy Star II, detailing the hero's unfortunate fate. After opening the dam, the party is ensnared by a plasma ring and captured by army eyes, leading to their imprisonment on Gyra, the penal satellite. The text describes being stripped of their weapons and left in prison garb within the space prison, providing a map of this complex area. While incarcerated, they witness the devastating event of the planet Palma's destruction. Their escape is facilitated by the space pirate Tyler, who becomes an ally. The page also includes a section titled Nightmare Again, illustrating a dream sequence potentially related to Rolf's past or the game's darker themes, featuring a battle against a powerful foe and a mysterious woman. Screenshots show the capture, the radar indicating Palma's status, the prison cell, dialogue with Tyler, and images from the nightmare. This page continues the journey in Phantasy Star II, following the protagonist's escape from the penal satellite Gyra. After the devastating destruction of Palma, the heroes are rescued by the space pirate Tyler. He aids their escape and, feeling sympathy for their plight, provides them with the last remaining operational spaceship. With space travel officially banned due to a major accident that occurred 10 years prior, this ship is their only means of interplanetary transit. Their destination is the ice planet Dizorus, a desolate and unknown world. The text highlights the severity of the past accident, noting it involved a collision above Dizorus itself, hinting at a deeper mystery connected to their current situation and perhaps the fate of Rolf's parents. Screenshots show the character portrait of Tyler, the pixel art model of the last spaceship they acquire, and in-game views of them flying through space towards a planet, culminating in an image of them arriving on Dizorus near a settlement, with dialogue referencing the 10-year-old crash. A fun illustration captures the character's wild ride aboard the spaceship. This page continues the exploration of Phantasy Star II, focusing on the deserted city of Sukure. After the events on Palma, the heroes land on Diozoris and find themselves in this eerie location. The text explains that Sukure was abandoned 3 years prior due to a sudden gas leak accident, which reportedly affected the entire population, leaving behind only strange remnants and a chilling silence. The maps displayed guide players through the first floor, 1F, of the city's interiors, showing the layout of rooms and corridors, including points of interest marked with stars and stairs leading up or down. Screenshots provide a glimpse of the game's top-down perspective as you navigate the desolate streets and buildings. Illustrations depict some of the grotesque creatures encountered in Sukure, including a monstrous, large-headed foe and a peculiar enemy described as having a penguin-like build. The narrative mentions the discovery of 2 mysterious hats by the party while exploring the town, adding a layer of intrigue to the location's mystery. Sukure is presented as a hazardous, ghost town environment where danger lurks despite the absence of its former inhabitants, a direct result of the catastrophic accident. This page delves deeper into the mysteries of Sukure in Phantasy Star II, picking up on the mysterious hats found. Rolf tries them on, discovering one magic hat speaks rudely, calling him names like Idiot Rider and Attaché Case, while the other is also described as not great. The article reflects on the desolate state of Sukure, how nature has reclaimed it, and how the remaining animals struggle for survival. Amidst this, a familiar face appears, a cat resembling Meow from the original Phantasy Star. The text recounts Meow's heroic past, fighting alongside Alice against dark fowls 1,000 years prior, his unfortunate petrification by Medusa, and Alice's inability to retrieve him later. The sudden appearance of this cat sparks curiosity. The page also provides maps for the B1 and B2 levels of Sukure, detailing the layout, stairs, and the locations of containers marked with stars. Screenshots show the top-down perspective as players navigate the eerie, abandoned city interiors. This page takes us to the frigid landscapes of Delenzo, the ice planet in Phantasy Star II. A friendly Dazorian character is featured prominently, introducing himself with a distinctive local dialect. The article details the party's arrival on Dimazo and their efforts to gather information from the native Dimazorians. Communication proves challenging initially, with even the strange talking magic hat from Sukure proving useless. We arrive at the town of Zosa, depicted with familiar top-down screenshots showing the settlement's layout and inhabitants. The Dazorians here have a strong dislike for computers, as one dialogue box clearly states. Conversations reveal their unique dialect and culture, centered around hunting. They share observations about the people from Palma and mention a past accident during a solar eclipse, touching upon concepts like the eclipse torch and a divine badge, though their understanding seems limited. The page also briefly presents the layouts for the weapon, armor, and item shops available in Zosa, listing various items like Laconian gear, ceramic weapons, monomates, and teleports, along with their prices, offering essential gear for navigating to Pissus. The next page takes us back to Motavia, exploring 2 towns. The first section focuses on Ryun, Paseo in the English version, mentioning secrets hidden within the town and discussing characters like Rune and Hugh, with the narrative hinting at their words being mysterious. The accompanying screenshots show the top-down view of Paseo, with its buildings and inhabitants. The second section covers Acabal, detailing how people from Palma sought refuge there, and discussing a strange, powerful man residing in the town, suggesting the party investigate his identity. Screenshots of Acabal's layout are also shown. Below the Acabal section are shop menus listing available weapons, armor, and items like various Laconian pieces and healing items, providing key gear for the journey. This page takes us to the icy planet of Dezolis in Phantasy Star IV, guiding players into the depths of the crevasse in search of the man sleeping in the eternal river. This figure, known internationally as Rune Walsh, is hinted at being the key to the unfolding events, with the party's suspicions solidifying into certainty as they venture deeper. The provided maps, labeled B1, B2, and B3, illustrate the layout of this multi-level dungeon. The text warns of mutated native creatures of Dezolis, affected by a poisonous influence and attacking in groups, urging players to find the fastest route and push through. Screenshots showcase the frozen environment within the crevasse, depicting the party navigating icy pathways. The guide emphasizes that the story's climax rapidly approaches once this core area is overcome. A small illustration depicts the characters dealing with the cold, Dezolis weather, adding a touch of humor to the harsh environment. This page delves into the discovery of the long-sought character in Phantasy Star IV, revealing his identity as Rune Walsh, known as Lutz in Japan. Connecting directly to the previous page's quest on Desolus, the text confirms you find him in cold sleep, fulfilling the prophecy of the man sleeping in the eternal river. The page highlights Rune's incredible history, reaching back 1,000 years to the original Phantasy Star. It explains his vital role alongside Alice Landale in defeating Dark Faults and protecting the Algo system, showing illustrations and sprites from the first game to emphasize this connection. Screenshots from Phantasy Star IV depict the interior of the facility where Rune is discovered, including the cold sleep capsule. The text explains Rune's awakening and his continued importance in Phantasy Star IV, offering crucial knowledge and assistance to the party, even if he doesn't permanently join their ranks this time. This reveal establishes Rune as a key figure tying together the saga's history. This page from BeepMD jumps right into the critical final stages of Phantasy Star IV, the end of the millennium. With Rune Walsh, or Lutz as he's known here, now part of the team, the immediate goal is clear. Find the legendary Nei series weapons. These powerful items are absolutely essential for the final confrontation. The page details the quest, showing the party exploring various crucial locations like the Invisible City on Desolus, where some of these artifacts are hidden. Screenshots display the unique environments encountered during this search. The text lists the full set of Nei gear, including the Nei Crown, Nei Shield, and Nei Slicer, highlighting their importance for Chaz and the group as they prepare to face the ultimate enemy. It builds the tension towards the impending final battle against Mother Brain, emphasizing that gathering this gear is the last step before teleporting to the enemy stronghold. This page dives into the dramatic final act of Phantasy Star IV, the end of the millennium. After gathering the essential needy equipment, the party, including Chaz and Rune, has finally reached the heart of the enemy's stronghold. Visually, the page features striking pixel art of the returning nemesis, Dark Force, along with small screenshots showing moments from the game's climax. A large, impactful drawing titled The Mother hints at the ultimate foe. The text builds intense anticipation, focusing on the shocking revival of Dark Force, who stands in the way, before the inevitable, decisive confrontation with Mother Brain herself. The journey has reached its critical point, and the fate of the Algol system hangs in the balance as the heroes face their final challenge. This page takes a nostalgic look back at the origins of the Phantasy Star series, focusing on Phantasy Star In and its successor, Phantasy Star II. It features the title screen of Phantasy Star In and introduces the story of Alice's quest for revenge against the evil king Lashiek after her brother's death, detailing how she gathers her companions, Mayao, Noah, and Odin. The page then jumps forward 1,000 years to Phantasy Star II, explaining that its protagonist, Rolf, is a descendant of Atalis, and the new threat facing the Algol system after a millennium of peace. A section highlights common points between the first two games, showcasing returning enemy types from Desolus and Motavia, like the Dezorians, Mammoths, and Motavians, and how their roles or appearances might have changed. Character portraits for the main party members of both games are also featured, providing a visual comparison of the heroes across the centuries. The page offers a brief retrospective on the foundations of this epic sci-fi RPG saga, with a touch of humor connecting the past and present. This page focuses on Super Thunderblade, released by Sega in October '88. The game was widely known for its high difficulty, especially the final fourth stage, and the article revisits it with strategy tips. The text discusses the inertia of the helicopter's movement, suggesting players need to get used to its feel. It also offers basic movement strategies like the diamond shape maneuver and other techniques. Screenshots illustrate the various gameplay perspectives, including top-down views, behind-the-helicopter action, and first-person segments. Specific images highlight typical combat, dodging through narrow spaces, encountering mid-bosses along the route, and engaging the stage boss, a massive weapons group. The article emphasizes that mastering the controls and understanding the level layouts are crucial for success against the game's challenging design. This page provides strategies and tips for tackling specific stages and bosses in Sega's challenging Super Thunderblade. It covers Stage 2, a cave area where mastering the hovering and dash technique is vital for navigating tight spaces and avoiding stone pillars, which are the main obstacles. Stage 3 is a sea battle against a powerful enemy fleet. Dodging underwater missiles and obstacle ships is key here. The article notes that while the enemy fleet can be destroyed, their main cannons cannot,
so careful maneuvering is required. The page also discusses tactics for facing the bosses, highlighting the difficulty of the Stage 3 battleship boss, and recommending targeting its many turrets. It mentions the unique 3D to 2D perspective shift before the Stage 4 boss, and warns that subsequent bosses become increasingly difficult, even suggesting that strategically using the self-destruct might occasionally be a better option than taking heavy damage. The content reinforces the game's high difficulty and the need for precise techniques. This page dives into the challenging stages of Super Thunderblade, offering vital strategies for stages 1, 2, and 3. It features detailed illustrations of the main targets for these stages: the Stage 3 Strategic Bomber, Vijaku 1, the Stage 2 Mobile Command Post, ZL and Buster, and the Stage 1 Mobile Naval Base, Eminor. Its guide provides tactical advice for each. For Stage 1, it highlights the destroyable turrets on the naval base's ends and the threat of vertically launched aircraft. Stage 2 focuses on the mobile command post. While most turrets can be destroyed, the two central ones are invulnerable, requiring players to quickly bypass them. Stage 3 features a large bomber that fires both standard shots and blue-white particle cannons, but the pattern remains consistent, emphasizing side-to-side dodging while warning of occasional feint attacks that necessitate slowing down. The page emphasizes that these stages truly test your skills as a pilot. Accompanying screenshots show glimpses of gameplay, including a 2D section, navigating obstacles like pillars, and hints about aiming your Vulcan cannon effectively. A section titled Technique 4 specifically addresses tactics for navigating pipes, suggesting further detail is coming on the following page. The next page delves deeper into the challenging stages of Super Thunderblade, specifically focusing on navigating the treacherous pipe and pillar obstacles. It illustrates the different configurations you'll encounter, labeled A through G, providing brief tips on how best to pass each one, whether it's going over, under, or through the middle. A key feature of the page is the sequence of these pipe types you'll face in the first half and second half of the game, detailing the specific order leading up to the mid-boss and the final boss. The page also showcases these boss encounters. The mid-boss is revealed to be a surprisingly tough robot, with tactics focusing on surviving its attacks and targeting weak points. The final section covers the ultimate battle against the massive final boss structure, describing its features and the strategy needed to overcome it. Screenshots illustrate the different pipe types, the robot mid-bosses in action, the final battle sequence, and even the game's ending screen featuring your helicopter. It's a strategic breakdown to help players conquer the later stages. This page focuses on the challenging boss encounters in Space Harrier 2. The page highlights the formidable boss army players must overcome, stressing the importance of staying vigilant. Several key bosses are introduced and illustrated with screenshots. Paranoia is depicted with a unique defense mechanism, a rotating shield of psycho balls. The terrifying three-headed dragon, Tremulor, is shown spinning and unleashing fiery attacks. The robot group, known as Neodom, attacks in formation, while Blizzard is described as a creature with unpredictable movements. The screenshots give a clear look at these enemies and the chaotic nature of the battles. The overall tone emphasizes the difficulty of the later stages and the need for strategic play to defeat the relentless boss onslaught. The next page delves further into the notorious bosses of Space Harrier 2. Featured here are formidable foes players will encounter in the later stages. Medusa, the first shown, is noted for her slow movement initially, but transforms into a snake-like creature unleashing powerful ion attacks. Pay attention to the snake-like form, as it's likely the weak point. Following is the Manticore, a beast from Fantasyland that attacks with wings and charges. The strategy is to hit its wings, then its body, utilizing hit-and-run tactics on its vulnerable point, which appears to be a tail. The Wizard, a master of illusion, splits into multiple copies that shoot projectiles. The real one is the Shadow, and dodging its attacks requires moving in the same direction it spins. Next up is Neotomos, an evolved enemy type that splits into several indestructible shelled copies. Wait for them to open and shoot the exposed core, ignoring the distracting numbers. The giant jellyfish Chlorogon lives in cold regions and attacks by shooting parts of itself. Defeat smaller ones to draw out the main body, then attack it directly. Finally, the Pinsben, a large multi-sided spaceship, is heavily armored against beams, with its weakness being the exposed inner core revealed after attacking from below and above. The page provides essential visual and tactical information to prepare players for these challenging encounters.
This page continues the guide to the formidable enemies in Space Harrier 2, moving on to later game bosses and the climactic final battle. First up is Cthulhu, described as the final boss, whose movement and attacks are detailed, noting a safe spot exists similar to the Blizzard boss. Then there's Loveface, a challenging foe that splits and shoots projectiles, offering a chance to attack when it opens its mouth. The guide then covers the ultimate showdown against Dark Harrier. This section features multiple screenshots showcasing the intense fight. Dark Harrier's attack patterns, including beam attacks and charges, are explained, emphasizing the need to master dodging and timing. The text suggests this is a tough, perhaps even unfair, battle requiring precise movement and patience. Finally, the page presents the ending sequence. Screenshots display the concluding text screens, showing Space Harrier returning to space, and peace being restored throughout the universe. However, the narrative quickly sets up a potential sequel, stating that Harrier must depart once again to battle the enemy for the very first time in the space year 6231, hinting at the events of Space Harrier 3. The commentary reflects on the difficulty of the final boss and the nature of the ending, leaving the player to wonder if the enemy is truly defeated.
This page focuses on the Sega Mega Drive classic, Altered Beast. It serves as a guide and retrospective on this unique action game. One section revisits the title, noting its release and popularity, and suggests trying it again. Another section provides a how-to guide to the game, explaining that the player controls a hero who fights enemies to collect power-ups, spirit balls. Collecting these balls allows the hero to transform through 3 stages into various powerful beast forms, which is highlighted as a key enjoyable feature. The page also touches upon multiplayer, stating that Altered Beast supports 2-player simultaneous play, which doubles the fun. A special Beastman Select mode is mentioned, accessible via a specific button combination, ABC, Start, and down left on the DPAD, at the title screen, allowing players to choose their starting beast form. The page shows the transformation sequence from the initial human form through muscle-bound stages to the final beast form, such as the werewolf. A screenshot of a password screen is also present, confirming the game's progress system. This page continues the guide for Altered Beast, providing details on the various beast forms encountered as bosses and strategies for the initial stages. It features portraits and descriptions of the bosses for stages 1 through 4, the wolf, dragon, bear, and tiger, highlighting their signature moves like the dragon's ray barrier, or the bear's petrification triple breath. The guide offers specific tactics for clearing stage 1 against the boss, known internationally as Agar, suggesting throwing the endless zombies he summons back at him, and using the flash attack and fireball combo from a safe position shown in the screenshot. The key takeaway for stage 1 is leveraging spirit balls to transform the player character, who is initially weak. Stage 2 takes place in a damp cave filled with strange creatures. The boss encounter involves a group of rascal wolves, including a crucial albino rascal wolf that must be defeated. The guide stresses the importance of remembering the albino's appearance location, as it will try to escape. The challenge is that the albino boss does not transform but simply flees. If you haven't transformed yourself by the time you encounter it, it becomes difficult to defeat. The stage cycles, repeating the encounter. But beware. If you reach the 3rd loop without transforming, the boss will attack directly. This page continues the guide for Altered Beast, detailing the challenges presented in stages 3, 4, and 5. Stage 3 takes you into a treacherous cave system riddled with pitfalls. Caution is paramount here, as falling is instant death. The boss for this stage is a chameleon-like form of Neph, often referred to internationally as the molting nail. The strategy involves staying close and pressing the attack once you've transformed into your beast form. Moving on to stage 4, the guide describes the encounter with the fairy croc boss. This beast unleashes formidable fire attacks, including fireballs and a fire dragon breath. Success in this stage relies heavily on using vertical movement effectively to dodge these fiery assaults. Finally, Stage 5 plunges you into a nightmarish underground shrine or hellscape. This stage brings back tough standard enemies, including the pesky albino rascal wolves from Stage 2. The ultimate confrontation here is with the final, demon form of Neph. The guide suggests that using the crouch punch is particularly effective against the final boss, stressing the need for careful movement and precise attacks to overcome this challenging finale. This page provides a comprehensive guide to the enemies you'll face in Altered Beast, following up on the boss strategies. It kicks off with a concluding thought on the final boss, Neph, referred to here as Simogen, noting his martial arts prowess but suggesting he wasn't as tough as he seemed, highlighting the effectiveness of the crouching punch and the reward of saving Athena and seeing the ending. The majority of the page is dedicated to an enemy character encyclopedia, detailing various creatures encountered throughout the game. It covers foes like the aerial skinny orcs from Stage 1, the tough grave masters, and the self-destructing single feet. Later stages feature unique enemies such as the tail-whipping lizardmen, chicken legs, the charging cave needles, and the powerful gorillas, gory goats, and horned demons, dark unicornia, from Stage 5, describing their attacks and offering brief tips like using crouching punches against many ground enemies, or positioning to deal with flying foes like the hammerflies. The page also includes a screenshot showcasing the game's ending sequence. This page dives into Osomatsu-kun Hachamecha Gekiju, an action shooting game released by Sega in December 1988. Based on the popular anime, it throws you into a chaotic adventure starring Osomatsu-kun himself, joined by familiar faces like Chibita, Dekapon, Hata, Totoko, and the villainous Iyami. The story centers around rescuing Osomatsu's 5 brothers, who have been trapped by Iyami in the parallel world. You'll chase Iyami, who appears in various disguises as the boss of 3 distinct worlds: the world of Snow White, the world of dinosaurs, and the world of Parallel. Gameplay involves navigating stages and using Osomatsu's primary weapon, pachinko balls, fired with the B button. Rescuing a trapped brother grants a power-up, boosting your HP, attack, or defense. The page highlights key actions like shooting, using items, and jumping, with a longer jump possible by holding the pause button. Screenshots showcase the power-up screen and different stages. A unique mechanic is the item exchange system, where you collect ribbons to barter with Totoko for various abilities. These range from practical items like temporary flight or an invincibility barrier, to more bizarre ones, like a high-speed dash that's humorously described as useless because you can't control it, a powerful screen-clearing attack triggered by Osomatsu's scream from eating spicy mustard, or even the ability to ride a cat. It's a fun system offering varied ways to tackle challenges. This page provides a detailed strategy guide for Round 1 of Osomatsu-kun Hachamecha Gekiju, set in the whimsical world of Momotaro. The layout diagram clearly maps the various sections, including the ground level, underground areas, and specific points like the shop. The guide breaks down the bosses of this round. The mini-boss Chibita appears underground and requires 2 hits with pachinko balls, with a note on his jump patterns. The troublesome mid-boss is Onidayun, a large demon who attacks with fireballs. Defeating him involves dodging his jumps and attacking from a crouching position when he lands. The final confrontation is against Momotaro Dio and Enma Iyami. While Momotaro Dio is described as less threatening, the main boss is Enma Iyami, who attacks by rolling and firing a laser from his foot. The strategy involves crouching close to him to avoid the laser and using rapid-fire pachinko shots, with a specific note about hitting a vital point. The page also mentions the initial Momotaro boss, suggesting a quick takedown is best unless you save his first follower, which buffs his health. Ribbon items are highlighted as useful for dealing with smaller enemies throughout the stage. This page moves on to the strategy for Round 2 of Osomatsu-kun Hachamecha Gekiju, set in the world of Snow White. The level map shows a looping area with transitions to underground sections, including a castle where Princess Iyami resides. The guide highlights key enemies and bosses for this round. Players can find useful recovery items like ramen and ribbons, along with precious 1-up cards. By defeating standard foes, the stage itself is a wide-open grassland, so the guide warns players to be mindful of their path to avoid getting lost, especially with floating obstacles appearing later. The boss encounters are varied. The route takes you underground to face Princess Iyami. The page also mentions Cupito Chibi and Nyaronme, noting that Nyaronme attacks with arrows and, interestingly, seems to be invincible, requiring players to keep their distance rather than attempting to defeat them. Other mysterious foes like Indian and My Tribe characters who throw javelins are also present. Screenshots show that hitting Totoko with a pachinko ball triggers her transformation into Iyami, a common enemy reaction when attacked, and the Decapan Witch who scatters both beneficial items, fortune, and detrimental poisons. It's clear this round throws a mix of standard enemies and unique, potentially unkillable, threats at you. This page provides a detailed look at the level structure and boss encounters in Round 2 of Osomatsu-kun Hachamecha Gekiju. The top section features multi-part maps showing the flow of the stage, including surface areas labeled front and back,
transitions to underground sections, and even a slot shop. Arrows indicate how the different areas connect, forming a complex level design. Further down, the page reveals a secret mechanic. Hitting a pachinko ball can make 2 hidden doors appear. These doors offer a choice, described as heaven and hell, with one leading to recovery items and ribbons, and the other to a swarm of enemies. The page also covers the boss fight against the Decapan Witch. It details her attacks, which include throwing detrimental poison and beneficial fortune items. Players are advised to dodge the poison, while collecting the fortune to recover health. The strategy involves hitting her while she's vulnerable after certain attacks, with the page specifically mentioning targeting her left side in the screenshot. The text adds an intriguing detail, noting that this boss is actually a shadow warrior, implying the real Decapan might be encountered later. Screenshots showcase typical enemy swarms and the abundance of items like ribbons found in the stage. This page continues the guide for Osomatsu-kun Hachameka Gekiju, focusing on Round 3, titled The World of Dinosaurs. The upper section features a detailed multi-part map illustrating the level layout, with distinct zones labeled a through M, showing transitions and even a loop pathway. The text below describes the stage as filled with dinosaurs, UFOs, and other bizarre enemies, urging players to observe attacks carefully and proceed with caution. The guide then details the boss encounters for this round. The mini-boss is identified as the Iyami saber-toothed tiger, advising players to find the safe spot shown in the screenshot and attack when it gets close. The final boss is the Iyamasaurus, who attacks by throwing its prominent tooth like a boomerang. The text notes the boss's high attack power, but suggests the strategy is straightforward. Screenshots depict gameplay from the level, including encounters with the Iyami tiger and the final Iyamisaurus boss fight, along with a specific screenshot highlighting the aforementioned safe zone against the Iyami tiger. The reviewer notes the Iyami's severed head towards the end is creepy. This page continues the guide for Osomatsu-kun Hachameka Gekiju, this time focusing on activities beyond the main stages. The top section features a map showing the layout of the slot shop area, detailing paths between different zones labeled with letters and descriptions like ground surface and a loop. Below, the page highlights Make Money with Gambling, detailing 2 methods available: Amida, ladder lottery, and slot machines. Screenshots display both the Amida game and the slot machine interface. The text suggests these are ways to earn money within the game, noting that the slot machine can be challenging but offers rewards, and encourages players to try them out. There's also text mentioning the conclusion of the previous boss battle with Iyami and the game's ending, suggesting these gambling activities might be accessible late in the game, before the final push, or after completing certain stages. The reviewer seems to see the gambling as an enjoyable side activity. This page focuses on the classic platformer, Alex Kidd in Miracle World. The main title highlights the game, which is described as a masterpiece from the Miracle World series making a reappearance, with the goal being the Sky Castle. It notes the game was published by Sega and released on February 25th. The page then presents Alex's cute 6 actions, illustrating key moves Alex can perform. These include the iconic punch, used for breaking blocks, a mid-air kick, and the standard jump. It also shows what happens upon losing a life, Ascension, after touching an enemy or losing a Janken match, along with the ability to crawl forward or backward while still being able to punch, and swimming underwater where Alex can also punch. The page provides a good overview of the basic mechanics and character abilities in this beloved title. This page delves deeper into Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle, focusing on the game's story and key gameplay mechanics beyond basic movement. The narrative centers on Alex's quest to find his missing father on the planet Janken, the homeworld of the iconic rock-paper-scissors battles. Collecting currency, known as Ballium, is highlighted as crucial for progression. The page explains how to earn Ballium by defeating enemies or finding treasure chests. A major feature detailed is the Janken House, where players can wager their Ballium in rock-paper-scissors matches against opponents. Winning these matches is the primary way to acquire essential items that aid Alex on his journey. Failing a Janken match results in losing the bet and being ejected from the house, sometimes even losing your clothes. Screenshots demonstrate the Janken House interface, including betting options and the outcome screens for winning and losing. The next section showcases the valuable prizes obtainable from the Janken House. These include the Hopper, which increases jump height, the Power Bracelet, which allows Alex to fire projectiles, the Scoopacile and Petit Copter vehicles for traversing levels, the Magic Wand for temporary flight,
the teleportation cloak for temporary invincibility, and the amulet, a crucial item that reveals the opponent's jank in hand, making boss fights and other challenges much easier. The item selection screen is also shown, allowing players to manage their inventory. The page effectively communicates the importance of the jankin mechanic and the strategic use of items in Alex's adventure. This guide covers the initial stages of Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle, focusing on the first 3 levels. Stage 1, Beginner's Town, introduces players to basic controls and combat, with a goal of acquiring an onigiri. Stage 2, Harappa Grassland, features diverse enemies and introduces the Scoopasile vehicle. Players earn money from defeating enemies and treasure chests, including those hidden underground. Stage 3, Alto Sea, is an underwater level where players can use the Petit Copter for easier navigation. The guide emphasizes exploring the underwater world and confronting the giant octopus boss, encouraging players to experience the game's challenges and diverse environments. The next page continues the guide for Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle, covering stages 4 and 5. This page delves into the challenges of the Lahore Desert, Stage 4. It highlights the vast sandy landscape and advises players to look out for treasure chests scattered throughout the level. The desert is home to various enemies like scorpions and antlions. A particularly intriguing feature mentioned is the mysterious sky painting structures floating high above, which don't seem to require visiting, but add to the level's atmosphere. The guide also details a special move called the Special Move Block Crushing Fist, explaining how punching certain blocks sends them flying forward to defeat enemies, a useful technique, especially when obstacles are present. Moving on to Stage 5, the Pyramid, the page emphasizes it as an excellent opportunity to earn significant money from treasure. This stage introduces a boss character for the first time in the game. The boss of the pyramid is the Queen, who challenges Alex Kidd to a baseball game. The guide confirms that this baseball match is the method to defeat the boss and advance, noting the unexpected nature of this confrontation. The next page continues the guide for Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle, covering the later stages. This page moves into Samoria Town, Stage 6. Noting it marks the latter half of the game, it suggests the flat terrain is ideal for using the Scopa cycle, and warns about the appearance of radio-controlled planes and cars. Next is Kikori Forest, Stage 7. Here you encounter enemies like the woodcutter Jason, apes, and bees. The woodcutter swings an axe, but is easily defeated with punches, while apes climb trees and bees fly unpredictable patterns. The stage also features treasure chests. The guide highlights the boss of this stage, Butaro the Bear, who is defeated, surprisingly, through a baseball game, similar to the Queen from the Pyramid stage. Finally, the guide touches on Rock Mountain 1, Stage 8, which presents a more pleasant environment. It recommends collecting around 3,000 polyums for continues. The stage involves climbing and features jankin, rock, paper, scissors, matches, and an athletic challenge. The boss here is a fake hermit who teleports, and the strategy is to dodge the teleport and punch when they reappear. The next page continues the guide for Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle, detailing 2 later stages known for their difficulty. First up is Rock Mountain 2, Stage 9, presented as one of the toughest parts of the game. It's a challenging climb featuring tricky platforming, encounters with fake hermits who teleport, and dangerous falling rocks. The guide emphasizes dodging these hazards, noting that the combination of fake hermits and rocks near the goal requires careful timing. Failing here sends you back to the beginning of the stage. Following that is the Sky Stage, Stage 10, which involves flying towards the Enchanted Castle. This stage introduces the gyrocopter, referred to as Petit Copter, allowing Alex to fly through the sky. The challenge here is navigating the air while avoiding various flying enemies and projectiles like missiles. The guide stresses caution and avoiding enemies, as falling or getting hit likely means losing the gyrocopter and being sent back, highlighting the unforgiving nature of these later levels. This page continues the guide for Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle, focusing on the challenging final areas. The guide covers Stage 11, the Sky Castle, which is the final dungeon leading to the end. This stage is filled with various traps like falling platforms, poison gas, and hidden pitfalls, designed to catch players off guard. Navigation requires careful attention to these hazards, along with solving some puzzle-like elements to progress. Staying alert and taking things slowly is crucial here. Following the Sky Castle is the final showdown. The last obstacle before the ending is another battle against the jankin, rock, paper, scissors bosses. The guide points out there are multiple Janken opponents, culminating in the final boss, Janken the Great. This final encounter is described as tough, requiring players to win multiple rounds of rock, paper, scissors, often starting with a disadvantage. Success depends entirely on luck, or a strategy of trying to discern patterns, if any exist. The page concludes by showing the happy end screen, indicating a successful completion of the game after defeating the final Janken boss. There's also a brief note accompanying the ending screenshot. The large central image appears to be a composite map detailing the layout of the final castle stages, showcasing the complex level design and numerous rooms players must navigate. This page features Sega's new title information, highlighting upcoming releases to compete with other manufacturers. The main focus is on Hokuto no Kenshin Seikimatsu Kyuseishu Densetsu, Fist of the North Star, Legend of the Post-Apocalyptic Savior, for the Mega Drive. The article notes the popularity of the series and its return to Sega platforms. It promises deep battle scenes and powerful visuals. The text mentions protagonist Kenshiro defeating Rauch and embarking on a journey with Kumelin and Bat. The game appears to be a side-scrolling action title based on the screenshots, featuring intense combat. One screenshot shows Kenshiro fighting a large, muscled opponent, possibly a boss like Bask, while another shows him facing a different large figure, perhaps Jayla. The article notes these opponents are tough. Also mentioned is World Cup Soccer, indicating Sega is preparing a variety of interesting games. The article encourages readers to check out the new Fist of the North Star title, suggesting both series fans and newcomers will enjoy it. This page dives into Sega's upcoming Mega Drive releases, continuing from the previous discussion. The main feature highlights World Cup Soccer, detailing its deep player data, team customization options for formations and positions, and promise of realistic animation, with a top-down view shown in the screenshot. It's expected in June. The page also features a release schedule for upcoming Mega Drive software, including World Cup Soccer, Thunder Force 2, Fist of the North Star, arcade ports like Super Hang-In, Rambo 2i, Ghouls Leng Ghosts, and other titles like Return of the Fairy King. Many are still listed with undecided release dates and prices. Dedicated sections discuss some of these titles in more detail. Rambo 2 is presented as a faithful port of the action-packed arcade game, known for its visual intensity. Super Hang-In is another classic Sega arcade racer, bringing its high-speed thrills to the console. Ghouls and Ghosts, the notoriously difficult Capcom arcade hit, is also announced as a Mega Drive port aiming for accuracy. Return of the Fairy King is noted as an adventure game based on a popular novel series. Finally, A Garden of Rumors hints at various unconfirmed projects, including progress on Outrun 3D and speculation about a potential third Master System title. The page also lists upcoming peripherals, like a modem and keyboard. This page provides an update on the Mega Drive's third-party partners, 2 months after their initial announcement. Several motivated developers are preparing new games for release. The article focuses on titles expected soon, highlighting the first wave, which includes Thunder Force 2 MD from Technosoft and Modem Baseball from Sunsoft. Modem Baseball is a baseball game from Sunsoft, planned for an August release alongside a modem. The text notes its realistic yet somewhat comical visual style and animation, questioning the effectiveness of the 3D presentation for player expressions, but praising the overall design seen in the screenshot. Their upcoming titles are also featured. Super Hydlide from Asmik, expected in August, is an action RPG ported from PC platforms. The text describes it as a version with enhanced scenarios and graphics compared to the computer versions. The New Zealand story from Taito, an arcade classic, is announced with its cute character Tiki in action, though release details are undecided. Finally, Atomic RoboKid, another arcade port from UPL via Trek, is tentatively slated for an October release, bringing its challenging horizontal and vertical scrolling action to the Mega Drive. The article seems optimistic about the quality of these upcoming third-party ports. This page highlights the highly anticipated Thunder Force 2 on the Mega Drive from Technosoft. The initial impression section, titled Awakened MD, expresses the reviewer's astonishment at the game's graphics, sound, and game design, declaring it a significant leap forward for the console. The main feature section describes the game's dual gameplay styles: multi-directional top-down scrolling stages where the player explores and destroys targets, and intense horizontal side-scrolling stages. It details the game's extensive weapon system, explaining how power-ups are acquired, and listing several distinct weapon types like the twin shot, backfire, side shot, wave shot, laser, and crusher. noting their unique characteristics and destructive power. Screenshots illustrate both the top-down map stages and the side-scrolling action, showcasing the detailed visuals. The reviewer strongly endorses the game, stating its quality and depth make it a must-play title that pushes the Mega Drive's capabilities. This page delves further into the details of Thunder Force 2, showcasing the challenges presented in later stages. It highlights Stage 2 and Stage 3, describing the types of enemies and level design players will encounter. The feature focuses on key moments, such as the formidable large boss at the end of Stage 2, depicting the intense showdown players face. A notable section compares the Stage 2 mid-boss between the Mega Drive and X68000 versions, pointing out subtle differences, suggesting the port isn't a simple copy. The article expresses excitement for the upcoming Mega Drive release, acknowledging Technosoft's work and the anticipation built by the X68000 version. Screenshots illustrate the intense horizontal shooting segments, featuring the boss battles and various enemy formations, alongside a glimpse of the mission completed screen, displaying the clear time and bonus points. It also briefly mentions the distinctive voice announcement for power-ups. Overall, the page reinforces the game's high quality and challenging gameplay. This page features an exciting promotional campaign offering readers the chance to win Sega Mega Drive consoles and a selection of fantastic games. The main prize is the Mega Drive console itself, with 10 lucky winners. Following that, the magazine is giving away 10 different game titles, with 15 copies of each up for grabs. The featured games cover a range of genres and include iconic titles like the epic RPG Phantasy Star II, the classic arcade port Space Harrier II, and the challenging shooter Thunder Force 2. Other exciting titles include the intense scrolling shooter Super Thunderblade, the memorable launch title Altered Beast, and the platformer Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle. The lineup also includes Super League, the strategy game Super Daisen Ryaku, the sports title World Cup Soccer, and the character-based game Osomatsu-kun. Details on how to enter the contest are provided, requiring applicants to use the included coupon and send in a postcard with their details and choice of prize by the specified deadline in June 1989. It's a chance for readers to get their hands on Sega's powerful new 16-bit console and some of its hottest early titles. This page provides a closer look at Super League, the baseball title from Sega mentioned in the previous page's contest listing. Sega proudly presents this game, boasting beautiful graphics and clear visuals. The page features screenshots showcasing various game modes, including the option select screen for customizing difficulty, type of game, pitchers or batters, errors, maker, wind, and sound. The mode select screen reveals options like Klieg, Pleague, Open, Exhibition, VS Versus, Password mode for continuing a league, and options. A team select screen is also shown, with a list of teams and some basic stats. A password entry screen is also present, using both Japanese kana and English letters. The review highlights that the game is fun for 1 or 2 players. It emphasizes that the gameplay and controls feel similar to the popular Famista series, suggesting an intuitive and accessible experience. Basic operations for pitching, batting, running, fielding, and pausing are outlined, controlled via the directional pad and buttons. The review concludes by noting that Sega has focused on the core gameplay, making the controls straightforward and refreshing compared to other recent, potentially overcomplicated baseball games. Super League was released on April 22, 1989. The next page dives deeper into Super League, showcasing the extensive player data available in the game. As the title proclaims, the game brings players to life with their real back numbers and detailed stats. Beyond standard batting and pitching numbers, Super League includes new elements like fielding and running ability ratings, adding significant depth to the simulation. The page features comprehensive data tables for the Giants and Dragons teams, listing stats for hitters and pitchers, including these new defensive and speed metrics. Small blurbs offer insights into each team's characteristics, like the strength of the Giants, or highlighting key players for the Dragons. In-game images provide a look at the player models. The detailed data suggests a focus on realistic simulation gameplay. This page continues the deep dive into Super League, showcasing more teams and their detailed player data. We see the stats for the Swallows, Carves, Tigers, and Hools. Just like the previous teams, you get comprehensive breakdowns for hitters and pitchers, including their back numbers, batting averages, home run totals, and the crucial fielding and running ability ratings that add so much realism to the game. The Swallows are highlighted with the return of Harna, making the team look promising. The Carves are described as a formidable left-handed hitting force, emphasizing their batting power. The titers are noted for their consistency, with the return of bars bringing confidence, although a weakness is mentioned. Finally, the hools are all about speed and mobility, crucial for success in this game. Small images representing the teams and players further illustrate the presentation. This game truly brings baseball data to life on the Genesis.
This page continues the deep dive into Super League, presenting more teams and their detailed statistics. We now get a look at the Buffaloes, Leopons, Braves, and Figures. As with the previous teams, comprehensive data is provided for both hitters and pitchers, covering everything from batting averages and home runs to crucial defensive and running capabilities, and pitcher stats like speed and stamina. The Buffaloes feature a strong hitting lineup, but are noted for having thin pitching, with ace pitcher Afano highlighted as essential for their success. The Leopons are described as a well-balanced team, with solid hitters and pitchers, led by the popular and highly castrated player, Kyomar. The Braves boast significant offensive power, particularly with the addition of Kato Kata, whose knockout ability is a major boost. Katota is also noted for his smooth swing and youth. Finally, the Figures are highlighted for their stable pitching staff, suggesting they will win games by scoring consistently, though their defensive anchor Nishisaki is mentioned as lacking standout characteristics. Team logos and pixel art player images complement the data presentation. This page continues our look at the teams in Super League, presenting data for the Orions and Hawkas. The Orions are noted for having a weak hitting lineup, though their pitching staff is considered decent, with reliever Ushijima specifically highlighted. The Hawkas, conversely, boast a strong hitting attack, but their pitching is deemed iffy, with veteran Yamakasu relied upon to perform well. Beyond team data, the page delves into the strategic gameplay of setting your batting order and choosing your pitcher. The magazine explains that while you can start the game with the default settings, the depth comes from customizing your lineup and pitching choices based on the opponent's order and your pitcher's stamina. A screenshot shows the menu interface for setting the batting order and selecting pitchers for the Gates team. The page also lists the matchups for the Circa League Pennant Race's first game, featuring teams like Gates, Hools, Dracons, Sallows, Carves, and Titers. A small cartoon character in Sega gear appears, looking hesitant, accompanying text that asks if you can win after starting the game. It emphasizes that this is how the game becomes. This page presents a basic course on offense for the game's Super League, focusing specifically on hitting technique. It highlights the game's realistic batting swing, but notes that mastering hitting requires timing and skill. The page provides a visual guide using sequential screenshots to demonstrate the correct batting process. It emphasizes that proper timing with the DPAD is crucial for making solid contact, which results in line drives. Conversely, poor timing leads to easy fly balls, wasting strategic opportunities. The ultimate goal, and the star of baseball, is hitting a home run, which is also shown. The section features a player named Kazushige as a model, demonstrating the technique. The next page shifts from offense to cover defensive and strategic aspects of Super League. It starts by explaining how to effectively use bunts, particularly to advance faster runners, emphasizing that successful bunts rely on timing and placement. The section on base running warns against taking too large a lead, as it risks being picked off or even injuring the runner. Pitching stamina is highlighted as a crucial factor. The Saints stat decreases as pitches are thrown, impacting performance, and players need to manage their rotation accordingly. The game features horizontal breaking balls like sliders and curves, but no vertical ones, adding a layer to pitching strategy. Different throwing styles, such as sidearm and underhand, are noted as potential secret weapons. The page also showcases the detailed player animations, with examples from players like Kachori of the Gates and Mikoshiha of the Titers. Finally, it shows the player substitution screen, explaining that you need to decide who to substitute before choosing from the list of reserve pitchers. This page delves into the defensive and strategic elements of Super League. It advises players to get accustomed to the overhead fielding view and use voice commands to direct fielders. The def parameter is highlighted as crucial for defensive ability, and the player's shoulder strength affects throwing power. The game includes errors, such as fumbling and tunneling, particularly on hard-hit ground balls. A significant factor is wind, which affects fly balls and requires using the shift function to position fielders optimally. The wind direction is indicated by flags on the back screen. The page then presents several real match screenshots, showing various gameplay scenarios, including different score lines,
strategic shifts in fielding, and even comeback attempts. It also displays results screens and the league standings, giving a glimpse of the game's progression and league structure, featuring teams like the Gaints and Drakens. This page celebrates the arrival of the classic puzzle game Tetris on the Sega Mega Drive. It introduces the game, highlighting its straightforward yet addictive gameplay involving falling blocks that must be arranged to clear lines. The page details the game's setup options, including selecting between 1 or 2 players, adjusting the starting level and height, and customizing controls like the direction of rotation and drop. Screenshots illustrate the various settings menus, showing the depth of customization available. Further explanation is given on the core mechanics, showing the different shapes of the falling blocks. Screenshots also demonstrate the scoring system, showing examples of clearing 1, 2, 3, or 4 lines simultaneously, with progressively higher scores awarded for more lines cleared at once, culminating in the Tetris 4-line clear, which yields the highest points. The content provides a good overview for players new to Tetris, explaining the simple rules and strategic depth. A small note mentions the game's release was delayed. The next page delves deeper into the Sega Genesis version of Tetris, discussing its modes and specific features. It starts by asking about the Mega Drive version itself, hinting at its unique aspects. The time trial mode is highlighted, where players race against the clock, usually a 3-minute limit, to clear as many lines and score as possible. The focus is on speed and efficient piece placement. The page also details multiplayer options, specifically the 2-player simultaneous mode and the unique doubles mode. In the simultaneous mode, both players play their own game side by side. The doubles mode is particularly interesting, as 2 players cooperate on a single larger playfield, requiring coordinated strategy to succeed. Screenshots illustrate the distinct layouts for these modes, showing how players interact or share the screen. Finally, the page discusses the next piece display option, noting that while helpful for planning, experienced players might challenge themselves by turning it off, adding a layer of difficulty and requiring quicker decision-making. The reviewer seems impressed by the variety and options presented in this version of the classic puzzle game. This page details the various item blocks found in this version of Tetris for the Sega Genesis, explaining their effects. These special blocks add unique twists to gameplay, impacting speed, scoring, and line clearing. This page focuses on techniques and stage introductions for the Sega Genesis version of Tetris. It delves into specific strategies for improving gameplay, such as dealing with awkward gaps left by fallen blocks and mastering block rotation. The article highlights that the Mega Drive version offers flexible control options for rotating blocks, allowing players to assign left and right rotation to different buttons. It emphasizes that practice with these techniques is key to achieving high scores. The lower part of the page features a stage introduction, showcasing the unique background visuals that appear at different level ranges throughout the game, covering levels 1 through 13 and beyond. This page introduces Super Dai Senryaku for the Sega Mega Drive, a complex turn-based strategy simulation game released on April 29th for 6,800 yen. Based on the popular Dai Senryaku PC series, specifically a port of Dai Senryaku 2 from the PC-98, this title is described as deep and strategically rich, appealing more to experienced players than beginners due to its complexity. The game operates on a turn-based system, similar to chess, where players issue commands to units across a hexagonal map. The core operations include production, movement, and combat, with the ultimate goal being to eliminate enemy forces and capture their capital. The page highlights the game's strategic depth, which increases with the number of participating nations, up to 4, and players, 1 to 4. Screenshots show the game's title screen with an aircraft carrier illustration, a player setup menu, a detailed unit information display listing stats like movement, fuel, weapons, and range, and the strategic map showing units and terrain represented by different hex colors. The text explains the process of loading maps, setting game parameters, and moving units, emphasizing the need to consider terrain effects and fuel consumption. The reviewer notes that while challenging, the game's strategic complexity is its main appeal for dedicated players. This page delves deeper into the strategic gameplay of Super Dai Senryaku on the Mega Drive, detailing the essential actions players will perform each turn. Combat is a central focus, featuring both direct and indirect engagements. The outcome is determined by unit statistics shown on screen and influenced by terrain, with realistic animated sequences depicting the battles, from air-to-air dogfights to ground clashes between tanks. Beyond combat, effective resource management is critical.
You'll need to utilize captured factories, airfields, and ports to produce new units, keeping a close eye on your budget. Infantry units are vital for capturing these buildings and cities, which increases your income and provides locations for repairing and supplying your forces. Supply is necessary to keep units operational, requiring adjacency to own supply points or specialized supply units. Aircraft units also offer tactical flexibility, with the ability to select different weapon loadouts. The game also allows for merging multiple units of the same type to consolidate strength, or dispersing them for wider coverage. The full map view, accessible via the command menu, provides a comprehensive strategic overview of the battlefield, crucial for planning your moves in this complex simulation. The next page continues the strategic breakdown of Super Dai Senryaku, detailing several essential commands for effective gameplay. The March command is highlighted as crucial for navigating the large maps, automating unit movement towards a set destination. The Full Supply command streamlines logistics by automatically supplying all units within range of a supply point, a vital function as the number of units grows. The Unit List command provides a comprehensive overview of all your forces, showing their location, status, and statistics, making it easy to track and manage your army. The page also discusses the game's detailed unit data, noting that all unit stats are pre-configured. It mentions the presence of 12 different unit types and suggests this data can be used for simulating battles. For players looking to deepen their strategy, the init command is introduced, allowing selection from different game setup modes, including initial map selection and varying unit and budget configurations, ranging from beginner to advanced difficulty. Finally, the sheer number and variety of maps are emphasized, with a screenshot showing a list of 35 distinct scenarios like Island Campaign and the Far East, promising diverse strategic challenges. It notes a difference from the PC version, where map-specific production types limit unit creation options. The next page delves into the specific unit production data for all 12 types available in Super Dai Senryaku, breaking it down by country. It focuses on 6 key nations: the USA, Israel, France, Japan, West Germany, and Britain. For each country, the page lists the available ground, naval, and air units, showing their production cost and time, providing the detailed data mentioned on the previous page. Accompanying text provides insight into each nation's military strengths and characteristics within the game. The USA is highlighted for its powerful and balanced forces, particularly strong in air units. France features renowned armored vehicles and versatile aircraft. Israel is noted for its unique units, like the Merkava tank. Japan incorporates many domestically developed weapon systems. West Germany has a strong tradition in tank development, while Britain is described as having potent naval and air capabilities. This section is crucial for understanding the distinct strategic advantages and disadvantages of playing as or against each nation, building upon the game's strategic depth. This page continues the deep dive into Super Dai Senryaku's unit production data, this time covering the Eastern Bloc, simply labeled East, Warsaw Pact, China, NATO, the USSR, and a simplified set for beginners. For each faction or set, you get the breakdown of available ground, naval, and air units, detailing their production cost and time, just like on the previous page. The accompanying text provides strategic insights into each group. The standard Eastern Bloc forces are noted for having relatively low-performance units, but their air units are quite economical. The Warsaw Pact is described as similar to the East, but generally a rank lower in performance, highlighting the need to effectively use naval units to succeed. China relies on a large number of units, many outdated but cheap to produce, making a strategy of overwhelming the enemy with numbers effective. NATO is presented as an easy-to-noose pattern, mixing European and American weapons, though its naval units are described as lackluster. The USSR boasts very high-performance units, filled with iconic Soviet hardware, but mastering their powerful arsenal and limited naval options requires significant skill. Finally, the beginner set offers a simplified selection of units, ideal for newcomers to avoid getting overwhelmed. The page emphasizes that this data is key to understanding each nation's distinct characteristics. This page highlights the impressive variety of maps in Super Dai Senryaku, starting with beginner maps and moving up to complex scenarios like World War II or ones based on Japan. The game boasts 35 different maps, each with unique characteristics and strategic considerations. The first map shown, simply called First Map, is designed for beginners. It's noted for having few cities and being easy to understand, ideal for new players learning the rules. Both red and blue forces start in similar positions, offering a balanced introduction to the game. Next up is the Island Campaign. This map is part of the core series of large-scale strategy games. It's intended for players to learn map specifics and unit strengths. The initial state gives a slight advantage to the blue forces, particularly in terms of military resources and industrial power, though red is not far behind. The reviewer notes that success here depends on how you approach the surrounding sea, and highlights capturing surrounding areas as a key point. Finally, the New Zealand Wars map, based on the island of New Zealand, is another practice map featuring only 2 nations. It's designed to help players learn the game's rules. The initial setup again slightly favors the blue side in terms of military funds and industry, but not dramatically. The central airfield on the island is a crucial point, often determining the flow of the battle. Notably, this map has no ports. This page delves further into the diverse map selection available in Super Dai Senryaku, showcasing 4 distinct scenarios that offer varied strategic challenges. First up is the Far East, a map centered around Japan and the surrounding region. This scenario involves 4 nations, and is noted for its difficult terrain, emphasizing the crucial role of both land and air units in navigating the conflict across the Japan Sea. Following is Picture Frame, a more contained map featuring 3 participants. This layout is presented as a good choice for players looking to refine their strategic thinking on a smaller scale, with a focus on capturing cities and ports, where land units are particularly key. The Day After MK presents a large-scale World War II scenario across a global map. It's highlighted as a map where tactical foresight is essential, noting that one side, presumably blue, starts without cities, making the early control of air resources vital for survival and expansion. Finally, Red Bear focuses on the Hokkaido area, featuring a conflict between 2 nations. This map zeroes in on a specific regional conflict, likely centered around an invasion scenario, as indicated by the mention of the USSR and Japan self-defense forces in the stats overview. Overall, the page demonstrates the depth of strategic options provided by the game's extensive map library, moving from contained practice scenarios to large-scale global conflicts. The next page continues our look at the vast selection of maps available in Super Dai Senryaku, offering more unique strategic landscapes to conquer. We see Ultimap, a rugged landmass map inspired by the classic RPG series Ultima. It features dense forests and mountains, making ground unit movements slow and tactical positioning key due to the lack of roads. Next is Planet Palma, a name that will immediately bring to mind the Phantasy Star series for Sega fans. This map is set across island chains, emphasizing naval movement and coastal assaults among its 4 nations. Shikoku Wars provides a scenario focused on the Shikoku region of Japan. It's a challenging map centered around islands and seas, where the blue nation starts with a significant military advantage, while other players need to adapt their strategy. Finally, Another South presents a 4-nation battle on a large landmass with a central sea. The text advises deciding your target nation early and acting decisively, noting that the red nation begins with superior military funds. Securing airfields and accepting some losses are crucial for success here. These maps demonstrate Super Dai Senryaku's variety, moving from fantasy-inspired landscapes to regional conflicts, each demanding a different strategic approach. This page continues our exploration of the diverse battlefields in Super Dai Senryaku, showcasing 4 more distinct maps. First up is Neo Tokyo 2101, a name that instantly brings to mind the world of the manga Akira. This map is set in a futuristic Tokyo built on reclaimed land, making the central capital vulnerable. The text notes the Green Nation faces the toughest start and suggests that surrounding enemies might be the key strategy. Next is Sado Island Wars, which is exactly what it sounds like. A massive battle on Sado Island. This is described as a difficult map focused heavily on island combat and sea movement, where 3 island chains become the primary battlegrounds. Then we have Silk Road, centered around the ancient trade route through Asia. The description mentions that the player's starting nation is at a significant disadvantage, hinting that older weaponry might be useful here. This map features a lot of desert and wasteland terrain. Finally, Dragon Wars presents a map that perhaps resembles a dragon's head. The key strategy mentioned here is securing the limited number of ports along the coast early on. The initial setup is said to be quite similar for all nations involved. This page continues the look at the different scenarios available in Super Dai Senryaku. First, we see Banana Republic, featuring a crescent-shaped island map
with strategic points clustered near the center. The text notes that traversing the island can involve significant detours, and suggests aircraft will be particularly useful here. Statistics for the map's terrain types are also shown. Next is Operation Arrow, described as having complex terrain around a central airport, which is presented as a key objective. Initial setups are said to be similar for all nations, and players are advised to choose a country suitable for the terrain. Map statistics are provided. Following is Battle of 5 Lakes, which centers gameplay around 5 interconnected lakes. The descriptions confirm that battleships can navigate between the lakes via bridges, and highlights the unique sight of battleships within the lakes. Terrain statistics are included. Lastly, Seto Naikai Wars focuses on battles set in Japan's Seto Inland Sea. Players command a country and manage cities. The text mentions 4 major cities: Shikoku, Osaka, Hiroshima, and Fukuoka, noting that Osaka starts with a slight advantage based on the provided data. Map statistics and city-specific breakdowns are also included. Each section features screenshots of the map and the game menu. This page continues the look at strategic maps, featuring scenarios for Super Dai Senryaku, alongside an unexpected analysis of an RPG world map. First is Lake Biwa Wars, focusing on Japan's largest lake as a battleground. The text highlights the strategic importance of the lake and surrounding areas. This is followed by Faili Dust, depicting an island map where strategic points are key. Next, Tokyo Univi Wars presents a map resembling the Tokyo area. The commentary discusses utilizing ground units like tanks effectively on this terrain. Finally, the page shifts gears to discuss a map from the popular role-playing game Phantasy Star II. The text suggests that even this detailed RPG world map allows for grand strategic planning, noting it will be familiar to fans of the game. Each section provides a map screenshot, a menu view, and statistics on terrain types and unit counts by color. The unique inclusion of Phantasy Star II shows an interesting perspective on applying strategic analysis to maps from different game genres. This page dives deeper into the strategic possibilities within Super Dai Senryaku, showcasing 4 distinct and challenging maps. First up is the Ladia map, a dense collection of small islands where traditional ground unit movement is difficult, emphasizing the critical role of airborne and naval transports for effective landing operations, a nod to the amphibious fleet style of gameplay. Next is Sega Land, a truly unique map shaped like the iconic Sega logo itself. The text ponders whether the unconventional island shapes offer sufficient strategic depth, or if it's merely a fun, occasional diversion. Following that is Fukuoka City, a map based on the region where the game's developer, SystemSoft, is located. This scenario highlights the tactical challenge posed by multiple rivers, requiring careful planning to overcome these natural obstacles. Finally, the 3 Islands map presents an extremely hypothetical scenario combining Hokkaido, Shikoku, and Kyushu into a single battleground. As expected, this map naturally favors naval units, but the reviewer suggests that ground units can still play a crucial role given the relatively narrow land areas, stressing the importance of defining your objectives from the start. Each map is accompanied by a glance at the territory ratios and unit counts, giving players a sense of the scale and composition of forces in each scenario. This page delves into 4 more challenging scenarios available in Super Dai Senryaku. First, Green Island presents 2 large islands with limited connection, demanding heavy reliance on transport units for landings. The reviewer suggests the confined spaces favor tactical use of mobile units and emphasizes positioning artillery and tanks along the coast for defense. Next, the massive Eurasian war map encompasses the entire Eurasian continent, promising grand-scale conflict. The sheer size dictates epic battles, with the reviewer noting terrain like forests and mountains will significantly influence strategy. Alliance Strategy features a map dominated by large lakes and interconnected routes, with buildings spread out across the land. The commentary predicts intense combat will converge towards the center, stressing the need to capture locations strategically and sequentially. Finally, Warning War highlights a large island centrally located within a bay as the primary strategic objective. The reviewer advises initially focusing ground unit assaults on the outer coastal areas before securing the central island, noting that incurring some losses can paradoxically increase the effectiveness of air units later on. Each map overview includes key data on territory ownership and unit counts, setting the stage for the tactical challenges ahead.
This page continues the exploration of challenging scenarios available in Super Strategic Command. First up is Wild Dog, a forest-heavy map featuring rivers and bridges that invite tactical destruction and repair, reminiscent of an RPG setting. Buildings are spread out, making it an accessible map for both players. Next, the Yom Kippur War map depicts a vast desert landscape evoking the Middle East. Its dispersed buildings highlight the effectiveness of V/Pistol aircraft, like the Harrier II paired with supply trucks for logistical support. Over Plus feels like the final challenge, set primarily along coastlines with nearly all buildings located there. Success hinges on mastering naval and air units to navigate this complex map. Finally, Japan NVSS presents a map resembling Japan, characterized by numerous buildings and a narrower layout. While air power is tempting, securing airports is a key objective. The reviewer suggests playing as your local capital for added fun.
This page features the arrival of Japan's first RPG construction book, titled Magic Kingdom Simuline. This book is presented as essential material for anyone looking to create or deepen their understanding of role-playing games. It offers extensive setting details for the Magic Kingdom Simuline world, covering mythology, history, geography, customs, and elements needed for game design like characters, jobs, weapons, and armor. Authored by Kuroda Hori and published by Nihon SoftBank, it serves as a comprehensive guide for building your own RPG adventures, suggesting it can expand upon your own world or be used directly. The book is currently on sale, priced at 1,860 yen including tax, spanning 228 pages in B5 format. The artwork on the cover and a mystical diagram are also displayed. This page dives into the world of the Sega Mega Drive, showcasing several exciting titles and highlighting the console's capabilities. Featured prominently are realistic sports simulations like Tommy Lasorda Baseball, emphasizing detailed graphics and authentic gameplay. Another major title presented is Super Daizenryaku, a deep strategy game hailed as a masterpiece, boasting improved visuals and tactical depth, powered by the 16-bit hardware. The page also lines up a new power lineup of released games, including the epic RPG Phantasy Star II with its massive world, the wacky action-adventure Osamatsu-kun Hachameka ga Gikijo, the classic platformer Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle featuring its iconic rock-paper-scissors battles, the fast-paced rail shooter Space Harrier II, the intense helicopter action of Super Thunderblade, and the transformation-focused beat-em-up Altered Beast. Each game is listed with its price and cartridge size, ranging from 2 mega up to a large 6 mega. Furthermore, the page proudly displays the Mega Drive console itself, emphasizing its 3 powers of visual, speed, and sound shock, positioning it as the 16-bit console the era demanded, available for 21,000 yen. Finally, a look-ahead teases upcoming big power games, like the action-packed Rambo 2i, the challenging platformer Ghouls, Unghosts, the sports simulation World Cup Soccer, and the thrilling racing game Super Hangin'.